Our struggles in this world are similar, and the lessons to overcome those struggles and to move forward will apply equally to all. It will not be easy. You will likely fail often. It will be discouraging. At times, it will test you to your very core. If I have learned anything in my time traveling the world, it is the power of hope. The power of one person. One person can change the world by giving people hope. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when the times are the toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never, ever give up. If you do these things, the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have today. Finally, in SEAL training, there's a bell. A brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to be in the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to endure the hardships of training. All you have to do is ring the bell to get out. If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell.
Be prepared. It's getting closer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from Pittsburgh Studio number 1, it's Cold War Radio. Here's your host, Hutch Bailey Jr.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's start another week on the Steel City Resistance edition of Cold War Radio. Thank you for choosing Cold War Radio from the Alpha Foxtrot studio, one of the last broadcasts from this studio, by the way. Never fear, there'll still be broadcasts. The Cold War Radio patron hotline, 412-206-6208. The voicemail, 412-567-1460. Please go to steelcityresistance.com, visit that site, and become a Cold War Radio patron. You can catch the research room there, the video 2 page. Check out the podcast on iHeartRadio or right on Spreaker with those little pain in the butt advertisements on there, but they help pay the bills too, folks. If you want to write to the show, please write to scrtv@live.com, or you can write to Cold War Radio, P.O. Box 10433-370, Castle Shannon Boulevard, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15234. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get my co-founder, so to speak, on the on the job. Let's welcome Ward Miller to the program. Good evening, Ward.
Good evening, Hutch, and my fellow bacon-loving, dog-faced pony soldiers. How's everybody doing this evening?
Oh, boy. I'll tell you, this show's becoming more and more important, and they're going to try to take it down. I read an article rather tonight about how PayPal is going to do some more deep dives, and they're teaming up with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation Phony League, to try to find white supremacists and people like us, patriots, and figure out ways how not to pay them. So we'll figure that out as we go, but there's other things. You've got Gavin Newsom calling anybody who doesn't want the vaccination a crazed drunken driver murdering people. They're really ratcheting up the rhetoric, Ward, and I think we need to prepare the audience for the next phase. I mean, it's they're going to. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't have any way of seeing into the future. I do know history, and I do know that those little yellow stars of David are kind of synonymous with what they're doing now with this vaccination thing. What are they going to tattoo people now? This is it's the rhetoric's really increasing. I'm sure you've noticed it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When the whole thing with the vaccination came out and everybody said, wait a second, how are they getting it through so quick? And they said, well, if you throw enough money at it, if you throw enough money at anything, we can cure anything. And I thought about that. And I said, you know what? With all this money that they threw at it, did they also throw a time machine at it? Because, nobody knows what this thing's going to do with this vaccine is going to do in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. There was no animal trials. There was no anything. It was just like, hey, we got it. We figured this is best we got. Let's go. Let's roll. It's like, well, that's the part that concerns me is the fact that there was like this, you're the guinea pig. That's who it's getting tested on. That's where we're going to find out what happens. They're
demonizing anybody who has any of their own thoughts.
Well, that's been that way forever, man.
But now it's getting to the point where, they're starting to threaten people. You're going to see people lose their jobs over this. You already have. A football coach at the Vikings lost his job already. You're going to see this. And the thing you got to think about is why. Why do they care so much? Because it's not the deaths. Don't kid yourself about that. Show me the bodies first. It's not that. It's so they can prove to themselves that they can do it. Because if they can give you a vaccination that's not even proven, what else can they give you? They're going to make us all trannies? What are they going to do next?
Yeah. What draconian issues are they going to push?
Right. Are white people going to get a shot so they're not as white?
Yeah, there's no telling.
This is something that must be stopped, folks. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not something that we can.
The whole thing is for control.
Exactly. And it's up to us.
It's not just the vaccination. It's the whole put on a mask.
Right.
Wear a mask. No, one mask isn't good enough. You need to wear at least two.
But the most intrusive is the jab so far. They even have a slang word for it, for Christ's sake. You don't think that's not part of the plan. The slang word to try to make it like you can laugh it off. You've got presidents and everybody else lying their teeth off. There was 141 admissions into a Sydney hospital. All of them were vaccinated. There's news reports that none of them were vaccinated.
Well, the news reports are going to have to say that because people like us point at the fact that, hey, all the people that were vaccinated got sick anyway.
And not anyway. I think they got sick from the shot.
It could have been. Well, there was a case where they vaccinated the entire New York Yankees and like 7 of them ended up with COVID anyway.
What a bunch of sheep, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It just amazes me, that they think that the way that viruses work, and they keep saying, follow the science. Well, then why didn't you prepare for a variant? Because that's what viruses do.
Why aren't we antibody testing anybody? Because that's what you need. You need people to be immune, not how many people got the vaccination. Who gives a rat's butt about that? How many people are immune? That's what we want to know.
Well, that's the question.
At least
I'd
that
have.
was the things I was taught.
If you got the vaccine, how would you prove that? I mean, other than have a little card, that says I got it. I mean, could you test for it? Like you just said with the antibodies test for the COVID. Can you test something that says Hutch Bailey got the shot versus Ward Miller didn't?
Not that you got the shot, but if it was a real vaccine, you would have antibodies build up. I don't think it's a real. I mean, this whole thing is ridiculous, man. It's just, and I'm not even concerned about the science anymore. The science doesn't mean anything to me. This is politics.
It's complete politics because the science is garbage.
Right.
There is no empirical evidence that the vaccine works. There's no empirical evidence that the masks work. I mean,
have you seen
if
what
you
they're
want to
doing
say
in
follow
Europe?
the science, let's follow the science. There's no show me proof.
Let's follow the communists. Let's look at Germany and England and France and what they're doing in Australia. All these weak people that I see these stories and I think, how many people in my family died for these freaking people?
Well, China's been doing this for years. Between SARS and all the other crazy ass viruses and illnesses that they got over there from the wet markets and whatnot,
eating rat meat and stuff. And dogs or whatever. Yeah, and each other probably.
But they've been wearing masks forever.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, for at least
Korea,
the last 5-10 years.
All Oriental countries, they always did. Back in the 80s in Korea, they were wearing them. Not everybody, but a lot of people were, like on a bus and stuff like that. That and gloves. They had these white gloves they used to wear. So what do you think is going to happen here? I was wondering, I was going over some material that you sent over, and we kind of talked about this on Monday or on Wednesday. You think something, apparently Rand Paul has filed papers with the Department of Asterix. You think anything's going to happen to DOJ, folks, for Fauci because he lied to Congress, which is a felony?
This is the first time we've seen a referral, right?
I don't know.
So,
I'm not sure. I know that
I don't think that there was I don't think there was ever a referral with what the hell was his name? With Holder. You and I know that he committed perjury. We know what he said and what was truth, but I don't think anybody ever pushed it. I think Fauci screwed up. He screwed the pooch big time because he's pissing Rand Paul off.
Oh, yes,
and he took a shot. He took a shot at like a parting shot at him when he was done. And
you don't know what you're talking about. Oh man.
Yeah. And the way he said it, you could see the look in Ron Paul's eyes. He's okay. You want to play that way? We're going to play that way.
And it's not like Rand Paul is some carpenter that turned into a senator. He's an ophthalmologist. He has
he's a
background.
doctor. He understands, the stuff that he was doing. And in fact, when he started questioning Fauci had no answers.
Right.
He says, okay, you're saying that everybody should have the shot. He said, why should I have the shot? I've already had COVID.
Right.
So I'd have the antibodies. Why would I need to get a shot? That's ridiculous. And Fauci couldn't defend that position.
An arrogant little bastard.
Oh, he absolutely is. And
I better never see the guy. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people. I'm starting to feel like I don't usually say this kind of thing on the show, but I'm starting to get angry, man. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people in this world I better never run into. And Anthony Fauci's one of them. I'll give him a real piece of my mind. That's a cover right there. No, that's I wouldn't do anything, but I'm just saying. It's something that these people have got me so mad that they come on TV and they cause so many problems, and they lie so blatantly. And then you see the son of a gun with no mask on. I think that's the part that's gonna break Americans. I really think that's true, man. I think that you're going to see somebody like Epstein or somebody that the Justice Department is going to ignore, and then some other guy's going to get nailed for some BS crime, and it's going to blow up. They keep talking all this stuff about an insurrection like they want one. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, they'd have no. If they call that an insurrection, they don't know what the definition
5 minutes
of
it would be
insurrection
over.
is.
5 minutes, the country would be over. The government as we know it. It wouldn't take very long. And God help the people that stand up for the communists. And we know a lot of you that have. And you better pray, because you're starting to go down a trail here where half the country does not want you to stick a needle in their arm. And that's a little different than wearing a mask.
Oh, it's quite different than wearing a mask. I mean, the thing is with the masks, it's up to the place you're going into. I mean, completely. They have the right to refuse service if you're not wearing a mask. That's their prerogative. That's their business. So, yeah, you really can't do anything about that except not give them any money.
Which is what I do.
Exactly. I mean, my wife will tell you I'm the first one that'll walk to a door that says you got to put a mask on, doing a bot face. It's time to go.
Is there any places that still do that? I don't even have it. I think hospitals maybe.
Hospitals and like doctors' offices and stuff.
I've seen businesses with something on the door, but it didn't. I still went in there.
But they don't enforce it.
Right.
A lot of them.
I'm not wearing another mask, man. I'm not a doctor. No. I'm not wearing another one.
Well, here's the thing, and that's one of the things that everybody points at. Well, look, doctors wear them 8 hours a day, and they don't have a problem.
That's they don't spit in the patient.
Number one, they don't wear the same mask all day.
Right.
They wear the mask that they put on initially is sterile. So it's not the same as the rag that you've had in your back pocket all day that you're walking into someplace and you're throwing on. That's in the first place. The second place, it's just completely ridiculous to believe that a doctor, sits there for. That's the part that gets me is, well, what about doctors? They do it all the time. No, they don't. No, they don't. Nobody wears a mask 24/7 because it's stupid. And I don't like to do stupid things.
I agree 100%. Let's move on a little bit to something else that's pressing. Time goes fast on this show, Ward. Let's talk about the Olympics and how the women's soccer team managed to get a country to root against them. I mean, this is stunning to me. But Bill Whittle did a really good video on this and basically said, I hope they lose everything they ever attempt. And the basketball people and the gymnasts, everybody else. I don't give a damn.
The basketball team did lose.
So did the gymnasts.
And the
in a round, in a qualifying round with the Russians.
But
I think
that Megan Rapapone or whatever the hell her name is. In fact, I put up a thing on our Facebook page because now she's the spokesman for Subway, it's basically we're gonna boycott Subway.
All right,
that's what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean it's the only weapon we have until this balloon goes up, which we hope never does.
Yeah,
it's really all we've got.
And if you go to the Facebook page, basically what it says is the new spokesman for Subway sandwiches kneeling during our national anthem. As much as I love a Subway sandwich, I will never buy another one until Subway issues a public apology and removes this person from their ads.
And
She's
Subway's
a terrible
been bad
role
for years.
model for the young in our great land. Make this viral.
Yeah, and I mean I remember early on during Steel City Resistance, Ward, we had an anti-Subway thing back then because they had canceled all meat except for halal Islamic meat in England. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think it might still be up there. I don't know. I have to go look.
And then right after that is when Jared got busted killing little kids.
Oh man.
Yes, I remember all of those shows.
I do too. I was thinking before the show tonight, I had a couple electronic meltdowns here. And I systematically went through there and fixed them and got on the air in time. But I remember doing that back in the 2010s when we were first starting out and panicking back here, man.
Sweating.
Yeah, absolutely. The Olympics.
Good God, our one visitor, our one viewer might not be able to see us. What the hell's going on?
I know, right? Remember? Funky Dung might not hear the show. What a time. Stuck with it, though. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Still here. I think we're one of the longest playing podcasts in history. I mean, we got to be close. Podcasts only started back then.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I bet it's pretty close, yeah.
I bet it is, too. So is that enough on the Olympics, man? Are we done with them?
Yeah,
I feel so bad for my wife, man. She's up there. That's her favorite thing of all time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I can't even turn it on just
I can't
because
either.
it's like if they start showing that that the soccer team or any of
And
the
they
other
do,
ones at
and they do
mealtime.
show that stuff. They show it. It's like I don't want to see that.
I know
They're up there right
and-
now that the female something is complaining that their uniforms are too sexist. Shut TFU.
Well, no, I kind of I understand what they were saying.
I
They-
didn't see enough. See, that's,
What
that's
it was
me
was
judging.
it was I think it was the girls from Norway or something, and it was handball, and the rules said that they had to wear bikinis, and they said no, and they wore shorts,
Right, and they got
and-
sanctioned.
and they got fined for it. Well, the
that's
artist
ridiculous.
Pink came out and said, "You do that. There's no reason for you to have to be forced to wear a bikini, and I'll pay your fine." And I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool. All right, see there's me going off the handle when something I didn't even watch. I just saw a headline. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. Here's a good piece of news here. Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has put Ben & Jerry's and its British manufacturer Unilever on a state watch list for its decision to stop the sale of its products in disputed territories in and around Israel. The move to take a pro-Palestinian stance led DeSantis to send a letter on Thursday to the State Board of Administration to ask it to immediately place Ben & Jerry's and Unilever on the continued examination companies that boycott Israel list. That's outstanding. I mean, that's what
very
we got to
cool.
start doing, stuff like that.
That's very and all the stuff that DeSantis has been doing is very cool. My question is though, with something like this, what does that actually accomplish? I mean, is there a sanction that's involved with that, or do they have to pay some sort of penalty? Or
It's probably that the
okay, well, we
state
can keep them
government-
from coming into Florida.
Or the state isn't allowed to put their ice cream in their snack machines at work or something. I mean, it's probably mostly symbolic, but a lot of stuff that the left does is symbolic too. We need to get a win here, and I think that was a good one. I don't know. It's not going to hurt Ben & Jerry's. I don't think it might. I don't know. I've never eaten the stuff. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it. I don't know if it would hurt them fiscally or not. I mean, but the state of Florida is pretty big, and if
booming
DeSantis
too,
says
man.
okay, yeah, and if DeSantis were to say okay, it's not allowed in any government facilities in the state of Florida.
I mean,
that might be some money.
That's kind of what they did between Reagan and Carter. Carter's racist Coca-Cola was made in Atlanta, and Coca-Cola machines were in all federal buildings. And when Reagan took over, he changed them all to Pepsi. I don't know if you remember. I was in the military at the time. I remember
Yep,
it.
same here. I remember them switching them out
Matter of fact, I was in Georgia.
I think they switched them back to Cokes when
Probably
Bush
Clinton. Oh, was it?
No, I think Bush did it because they did it while I was still in. They switched it back from Pepsi to Coke, while I was still in.
I don't drink that much of this stuff, but I haven't drank a Coke since they did that. And I
I
mean,
haven't
even
drank a
if I go into a fast food or any restaurant that has soda pop, I don't even get any of it. I get like a high C or something or iced tea.
Well, no, if I go into a place now and they say all we got's Coke products, I say give me water.
Yeah, right.
I won't touch Coke.
I'm not paying. And ladies and gentlemen, pay attention, please. It's one of our tools that we have at our disposal. We don't have many, but there's more of us that work than there are of them that work. So you put that together, and we'll figure out how to get through this. And there's I think Coke's hurting right now. I read something.
Oh yeah, their stock fell big time.
Good.
After they start with their woke crap.
It ought to be just like their predecessor, Tab. Remember that? Tab and Fresco. Where did they go? To nasty. Oh, those were terrible.
I thought, didn't Coke buy them?
Probably.
I mean, yeah, I thought Coke bought them and then it ran them out and then just shuttered them.
I remember my neighbor had 6 cases of Tab under his basement steps, and they never that stock never got smaller.
It's terrible.
It was horrible.
It was
Now,
the
one
worst
of the-
thing ever.
One of the reasons that we, ladies and gentlemen that are too young to know what Tab was, it was like Coke that tasted like kerosene. It was with the saccharin. It was a sugar-free deal.
It was supposed to be it was like diet.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be a diet drink, and it was a complete.
was
All of it
terrible.
was saccharin. It was terrible.
It was horrible, man. It was absolutely terrible. It was undrinkable, really. Fresca you could drink. I could. But
yeah,
not
Frescas
Tab.
weren't bad.
No,
Frescas
Tab.
were kind of like Winks.
They were like
Remember Winks?
a grapefruit. Yeah, it was like exactly like Wink. I like Wink too.
Yeah,
It was
I
like a
Winks.
grapefruit soda.
Put a
Grapefruit.
shot of vodka in it.
Yeah, right. There you go. So one of the reasons why we harped so loudly about Joe Xingping Biden and his Raggedy Sons hookups with China and the Department of Justice, the Department of Asterix, has dropped charges. Now keep in mind, there are patriots in prison in a gulag in D.C. since January 6th under no charges. Some being tortured. Keep that in mind. The Department of Justice has dropped charges against 5 members of the Chinese military whom federal prosecutors previously accused of lying to obtain visas to get jobs and a doctoral spot at United States universities. You still sending your kids to college? Late last week, prosecutors wrote in a court brief that they would be dropping their criminal cases against China military members Wan Tang, Chen Song, Kai Zhao, and Zhuan Li, all of whom had been accused of fraudulently obtaining visas to secure roles at U.S. universities in California and Indiana. How about that, Ward? That's just a coincidence right there.
Absolutely, and I want to give you kudos for you hit every one of those names, and that was very impressive.
I wanted to say Fang
all
Fang.
over 'em.
I wanted to say Fang Fang. But
Yeah.
Fang Fang, I don't know if that, maybe Fang Fang's what they all had in common. No, they're female. Well, you don't know.
Fang bang.
So anyway, I mean, this is the kind of thing, these people that are in office right now, and by the way, in case you hadn't noticed, the Democrat Party is the party of old people. The Republicans have a lot of young people, but the Democrats, these people are doing things that they're not going to have to pay for. They're going to be long gone by the time America is a Mexican state.
That goes back to what we've said a million times on the show. A lot of these Democrats have been Democrats forever. And it was back when if you were a Republican, that meant you were a white-collared worker. And if you were a blue-collar guy, you were a Democrat.
And hung out at the Democrat club.
And that's
everything.
what all these old people remember. It's I'm a Democrat because I worked for a living and, blah, blah, blah.
Have you ever run into any Democrats that told you that they would never vote for Donald Trump because of his tweets?
Yeah.
I mean, my God, are you that shallow, people?
Well, the thing is, they're so, sensitive. That's the problem with this entire generation is everybody's sensitive. And he said mean things. He was so mean to that little fat kid in North Korea. Yeah, he was. He was. But at the same time,
That little fat
he's the
kid
only-
executed one of his family members by launching a mortar and hitting him in the head with a mortar.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a real nice guy. But Trump not only poked him, went to North Korea, and is the only president ever to set foot in North Korea. The only one. And he got zero credit for that. It's, Trump's going to start a war. He's sending these mean tweets. Trump's going to start a war. Hey, he's in North Korea, the only one that ever did that.
And he went there with courage, man. He went there with charisma. You see the way
Dude, he rolled
he
across that border
across
like,
that line. He was
damn
pimping.
right.
He was
He
pimping.
damn right. He walked over there like he owned the joint.
He did. It was great, man. And he towered over Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un loved it.
Yeah. Because he thought that, I mean, their relationship is weird. Maybe, whatever. Maybe he gets off on being called Rocket Man. I
think what it was I know what it was, and it was that President Trump didn't follow the foolish path that every other president before him did and go to North Korea like North Korea could do something. Kim Jong-un can't do anything. He went to China, and he blamed China and Xi Jinping, and that's when things started to change. Because that's who runs Korea. Korea is just a puppet place, a puppet
And it always
country.
has been. It has been since the Korean War.
That's absolutely right.
Once China came into the Korean War, that's when we got our asses kicked.
We got our asses
we
kicked
couldn't
all the
find
way
China.
back down to the 38th parallel, man. I mean,
Exactly.
we had divisions, my division, the 2nd Infantry Division, that was rendered combat ineffective when the Chinese came in and pushed us down through the Western Corridor. Man, it was a bloodbath, man. It was a brutal. This is another thing that makes me so mad when I see these people supporting Joe Biden and the Chinese, is that they brutalized us, man. I'm telling you, when I got back from Korea, I read every book there was to read on the Korean War. And the Chongchon River was the escape route south from the Nakhtong, from the Chosin Reservoir, from the border with China and the Yalu River. That to get down there, you had to go in this river valley. And on the one side was the ice-cold river, because it was November, December, and on the other side was the Chongchon River was on one side, and the other side was a mountain. And I mean like a real mountain, not like a rolling hill, one of those ones that goes straight up and nothing's growing on it. You know,
Yeah.
one of those mountains. And the Chinese were in the mountains.
Sheer cliff face.
Yeah, and they were in the mountain. They had control of the mountains. So they were shooting us like fish in a barrel. Every time a vehicle would come down, they'd light a vehicle up, and that would cause, a blockade, and they'd kill everybody behind it. I mean, wounded and everything. They were shooting into backs of deuce and a half that had the wounded in it. It was just a horrible situation. 50% of our casualties were from frostbite. Think of that. That's how cold it was. It was one of the coldest winters on record. Global warming, people. But I don't know where I came up with that. We were talking about North Korea. Yeah. That's why. But anyway, so there's that. China is our enemy, folks. Cuba is not our enemy. Cuban people. I knew this was going to happen. I hope it happens en masse. I would love to see the character of the people coming, invading our country at Joe Biden's request. I would love to see them not be the programmed idiots that American Democrats are. I want you to listen to this I want you to listen to this Cuban woman, and maybe you'll get what I'm talking about.
Cuban people don't have any rights. We don't have freedom of speech. It's been like this for 61 years, okay, or more. The children don't have any food. They don't have medicine. The people are being pulled out of their houses right now, and they are being killed because on July 11th, they went out to the streets to protest because they are tired of living in misery. They are tired of not being able to speak and say what they want to say. They have no food. They have nothing. They need our help. They need President Biden to step up and help us. All we want is freedom. We don't want no money. We don't want COVID shots. We need help.
Is there anything that you want to have accomplished? If Biden could do one thing, what would you want?
I want them to help us get freedom, because when Biden needed a lot of our Cuban boats, because I'm from Florida, and when him and Kamala came to Florida that he wanted our help, I was one of the ones, just like millions of Cubans, voted for him. And he hasn't done anything for us. Nothing. He needs to step up because he has helped a lot of other countries, okay? Why not Cuba? Is he a communist too? That is my question to you, Biden. I voted for you. You haven't done nothing for my people.
Wouldn't it be magnificent to see that blow up in their faces, Ward?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it could, too. It could. What young kid is going to come over here and vote for communism?
Well, she did.
True.
Apparently.
True. You got a good point. When did she figure out he was communist? Just now?
This is that whole thing where, in fact, their hero said it. Elections have consequences.
Yeah. Obama.
Yeah. So
Indeed.
that's the consequence.
I can have hope, though. I can have hope. These people want prosperity just like everybody else. And I'll tell you, gas prices are continuing to go up. The only thing that's doing good, and I can't figure it out because I'm not an economist. I mean, it doesn't even economic issues. They're important on the dinner room, they're in the dining room table, on the kitchen table. But as far as the metrics and the different things, I'm just not interested in it. And I wonder, how's the stock market doing so well? Is it because the corporations are making so much money?
Sure. I mean,
I guess that
that's,
would be it.
I mean, that's really all that powers the stock market. It's all speculation. And it's like,
Right.
okay, do you think this is going to do good? Yep. All right. Crank it up.
I'll tell you, the gas prices, man, are, and you know,
They crank them up.
yeah, but you know what? You know what I don't understand? Pennsylvania, pay attention to this. You people vote like morons sometimes. Pennsylvania's gas, what is it around your place? What, $3.29 in some places? I think over at Peabody, it's freaking $3.49. I mean, it's like racially motivated. I'm over there watching these black guys pump this $3.49 gas into their cars, going, "Are you guys nuts? Go up the street." You know, why are you buying gas at this place? $3.49. I go to Ohio to get my gas. It went down 2 cents. It's $2.97 now. You know, but when you have a 36-gallon fuel tank, that matters.
Well, I think part of it too, though, is the fact that the lunkhead stopped the pipeline.
True.
Because instead of sending stuff through the pipeline, it doesn't cost anything. They have to load it up on trucks, and you have to pay for that. You know,
But a lot of it, when it's too,
and
when
that's
it's
the thing
too,
that amazes me is this. You know, all these green weenies are complaining about, you know, the pipeline and whatnot, but yet they're willing to put stuff on trucks that
And
pumps
trains.
3 times, and trains and
Those-
all this
those
other
wrecks
crap that pumps all kinds of CO2
Oh, yeah.
into the air. So it's like, okay, what are you trying to accomplish with your green crap?
But every time I start blaming it on President Asterix and the Asterix administration, I think if it's $3.39 or whatever it is here, and it's $2.97 in Ohio, and it's $3 in West Virginia, that's Pennsylvania taxes.
Yeah.
What's doing that?
Yeah. Oh, by God, yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it's a state thing, really. I mean, now the bottom price is the federal. We
Well,
were
yeah.
energy independent 200 days ago.
But
Yeah.
and at the same time, around here, you also get a Pittsburgh tax if you buy gas inside the city. So
I
that
don't.
adds to it.
Yeah,
well, no,
I'm
I'm
sure.
just saying.
I'm
You
sure.
know, everybody gets their cut of that pie.
Oh, you know it, man. But they're greedy. They're like Sammy said. They're greedy,
yeah.
man. They don't have to be that greedy. You know, take 2 cents. Don't take 25 cents.
Well, here's the problem with that, because they made cigarettes so criminal that the people that used to smoke cigarettes and pay that sin tax quit.
Did you see how much those I was at the beer distributor today, and right next to it, there's like a convenience store that has, they're supposedly big for their low price cigarettes. Dude, a pack of cigarettes like Marlboros or whatever is
I'll bet they're
almost twice as much as what a carton was when I started. The $8.25 for a pack of cigarettes, for 20 cigarettes with chemicals galore in them.
Yep.
The last 10 years that I
Right.
smoked, I rolled my own. I had a machine and I made my own. I had all organic. It's probably something that saved my ass, but anyway.
But I mean, that's the thing, though, because see, they made it evil and made it wrong to the people that were smoking. Okay, so they basically said they ran them out of business.
Yeah,
So-
you can't afford it, man.
So yeah, exactly. They can't afford it. So what happens is they get all these people to quit, and then they lose all this revenue. So how are they going to make this revenue up? First thing they're going to do is they're going to start charging booze
and
They're gonna jack up the.
pump more freaking nicotine in it so it makes it more addictive.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's too late for cigarettes.
Me
But-
too.
But
Which is
booze,
good.
that's what they'll do. Is booze will start. You'll see that they're going to start bumping the prices on
Shit,
that.
I'll start making my own again.
Through same thing, through taxes
Yeah.
and gas, because that's the only way the state's going to be able to make money, because the sin tax that they had for cigarettes is gone.
Just remember
You got
this, folks. When you're
a
talking
handful
about
of people.
gas, and they're talking about these sorry ass Teslas and everything else, remember, the only thing between you and the government running your ass is that car. If you don't have the capability of moving yourself out of an area, not 2 blocks away, I'm talking about I could jump in my truck right now and be anywhere in a couple days. If they take that away, we're done, man. We're toast. We're New York City, the whole country. How many people do you know that live in New York City that have cars? Not many. You know, they'll tell you all the horror stories about the subway. I don't want to ride a subway.
Well, the problem with New York is the fact that there's no place to put a car because they jam so many people into such a tight area. They got all kind of people living there, just ain't nowhere to put no cars. And and it's kind of the same thing in Pittsburgh because the city was built before there were cars. You know, so that's why, like, out west, they don't have it as bad as we do because our city was pretty much developed completely by the time the cars came about.
But if you look at the old pictures,
that's why the streets
tracks
and whatnot are wide enough. You can only get one car down at night.
There was railroad tracks down a lot of the main drags.
Oh,
if you look at some of the old
streetcars.
Well, before that for trains. But yeah, streetcars too. I mean, streetcars were electric though. They were everywhere. I mean, you and I learned how to drive on streetcar tracks.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you remember them. They were horrible, man. They were scary, especially in the winter when the ice was on there. And
they get a little wet, a little icy. Oh yeah, they were fun.
They'd get them ditches that would pull your car into the ruts. All right, let's go on to the insufferable. One of the missions, the mission of the show changes as the times go by. I remember there was a major mission change when Donald Trump came onto the scene. And we were in a radio station at the time. We had just started We Are America Radio, Wayne Dupree and a bunch of people and I. And we had a bunch of shows on there. There were like 10 shows on. And then Trump came. And a lot of the people ended up being establishment types. And there was so much friction between us that we lost the station. And I even lost a co-host, if you remember Mr. J. And because I decided that, look, I have this little platform, and I'm going to do everything in my little platform's power to get Donald J. Trump elected. And if you ain't down with that, you just can't be on the show. I mean, right? I was on episodes, and there was like real gnashing, you know, and it's like, no, I'm not doing this every night, man. I'm not. This is going to be a pro-Trump show. And
do you remember though when he first started, when he first announced?
Yeah,
we were talking about it.
Yeah,
and we said, you know what? He's going to go in. He's going to talk about some ideas, but he's not going to stick around.
And that's what we all thought.
And that's exactly. I mean, we thought that that's what he was going to do. He was going to prime the pump. He was going to throw out some ideas, and somebody else was going to take his ideas and run with them. Is what we thought.
Yeah.
And then when he started polling like he did, it was like, whoa, this could be real.
Well, I'll tell you what changed my mind, because my guy that I wanted was Ben Carson. I knew he didn't have a chance in hell of winning, but I still wanted him. I thought he was the best candidate until I started listening to Brett Baer, and Charles Sauerkrauthammer, and those guys. And what was that other doofus's name? Steve somebody. He's done now. He's nothing. I can't remember his name even. But they all lied about him, Ward. I sat there and I went to a rally, and then I listened to them lie about what he said at the rally. And I did that numerous times. And I'm thinking, these jagoffs are lying about this guy. I knew Fox was bad way before I gave it up. Way before. They're the ones that turned me into a Trump supporter. And by the way, I don't remember if I said this on Friday, but if you look at Brett Baer, you know who he is, right?
Oh, yeah.
You look at Brett Baer, and he gets off his show, and he goes into the dressing room, and he walks over to MSNBC, and he comes out of the dressing room over there, and now he's Rachel Maddow. It's the same person. They're the same person. Brett Baer is Rachel Maddow. Look at him. It's true. So, anyway.
He's Rachel Maddow with a pituitary issue.
Yeah. But anyway, the mission of the show, to me, we got to kill this establishment Republican Party, man. We got to get rid of them. They got to go. Rhino's got to go. I have no time for any Republican that's moderate. If you're a Republican and you're freaking negotiating with these bastards about this infrastructure program, you should be out of office immediately. There is no negotiating with these people. You tell me one time, that Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi reached over the aisle to us. One time. It's never happened in history. Not in recent history.
Well, I guess my question would be, if you remember back when Obama got elected and they did the big omnibus, it was a big omnibus infrastructure package, and there was, shovel-ready jobs and blah, blah,
and it was
blah.
$1 trillion, and all they bought was street signs saying there was a project.
Yeah, because they didn't spend any of the money.
Oh, they
and
did.
Then it became a joke.
Remember, it went to the unions. It went to
But
GM.
it became a joke when somebody questioned Obama and said, "Hey, where'd the money go?" He says, "Well, I guess those shovel-ready jobs weren't so shovel-ready." And the media just swept that under the rug.
Well, let's not forget what happened.
$1 trillion that just disappeared.
And let's not forget what happened either. They went against all financial norms. They paid the unions, not the bondholders first. The bondholders, who are supposed to get the most return on their investment when something goes down, got pennies on the dollar, and the unions got paid. I'll never buy a GM car. Screw them. Never. Anyway, so that, to me, the most important mission that we have is to get the enemy that's already behind the wire out. The insufferable Adam Kinzinger has been chosen by Speaker Nancy Pelosi to join Liz Cheney as representatives of the Republican face on her January 6th committee to re-elect Democrats. Just like Wyoming's heir entitled Liz Cheney, the mini John McCain Kinzinger, without testicles, is thrilled to be provided the opportunity to serve Speaker Pelosi. Both Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger are likely to be destroyed in the 2022 Republican primary election, so it makes sense for them to do as much damage as possible before they formally announce their party affiliation switch to Democrat, following Florida's famous Obama hugger Charlie Crist and his career path. So we won't be seeing much of them anymore in a couple years. But I got to tell you, we had Heidi St. John from Washington's 3rd District that was here and on the show. And she said, or no, not Washington. Who do we have on from Wyoming? We had an author from Wyoming. I'm sorry, I forget her name right now. But she said that Liz Cheney still has some juice there, that the Republican Party in Wyoming is basically owned by Cheney. And they are going, what they're trying to do is get more than one Republican to run. That's what they're trying to do, because the one that's running looks pretty good. But anyway.
I think that's what's going to happen, because, I mean, right after she voted to impeach Trump, she was rebuked, and then she was censored by the Republican committee in Wyoming. So she got punched in the mouth.
That's
for
true.
that.
Am I mixing two stories up or something? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I know that Liz got punched in the mouth by the
party,
by the Republicans after she voted to impeach. And if you remember, right at the same time is when Mittens got slapped around too, when people were starting to show up at the rallies and whatnot in Utah, and they booed him off the stage.
Yeah. I mean, and there's another guy that doesn't deserve. We have to watch. Our party is infiltrated badly, man. I mean, it really is. There's people that are encouraging Democrats to run as Republicans. That's where we are right now. We've got enemy in.
We tend to be very short-sighted or not have a long memory. We're like goldfish. We don't have a long memory.
Right.
And when these people screw us, and they screw us at the beginning before, when they have 4 years or 6 years or whatever before their next election, they screw you at the beginning, and then your short memory, by the time it's, hey, I didn't do nothing but good things for you folks.
Right.
Give me your vote.
That's right. And, Steve Bannon talked about that. There was an Arizona state senator that had a reporter, Jordan Conradson, from the Gateway Pundit. He asked her, this senator, they had all the candidates at the Trump rally. And this senator came up and started talking all that Constitution stuff, and she got booed off the stage because she's the one that had the audit shut down. And everybody knows it. And this reporter came outside and was like, hey, what did it feel like to get booed off the stage by Republicans? And she had the guy arrested, a Republican. An Arizona state senator, Republican, had a reporter arrested. Let's listen to Steve Bannon.
I've always been with you on ballot integrity and all of that. I never heard of it, frankly. And I don't know.
Hold on. She's a state senator that killed the forensic audit, killed the audits going forward. Said she doesn't support the audit. She had, by the way, Jordan Conradson from the great Gateway Pundit. She had him arrested later for harassing her.
Wow.
He walked outside and asked her a question. He says, "Hey, were you shocked you just got booed off the stage?" She got booed off the stage. America and American politicians ought to understand one thing. You're going to come up there and try to spin and talk about the founders and we the people and all this nonsense. Hey, people don't want to hear it. They want to see action.
Word.
They were holding her accountable right there, booed her off the stage. Then she got nasty. And poor Jordan Conradson from the great Gateway Pundit, I think they handcuffed him and put him in the back of a police car because he asked her a few questions about.
Now, I want you to listen to this, Ward. Steve Bannon is almost as bad as me.
He had to feel to get booed off the stage. So, Raheem, yes, I agree that Carrie Lake, hat tip to Carrie Lake, she clearly had supporters, and you could tell from Trump's face that was a wake-up call for him because I don't think he was prepared to have the ovation she got. But he threw down hard. The key thing is he backed, in your mind, he backed the full forensic audit.
That's my sort of final take on all of this because I think there's a lot of people.
Media and even further
meltdown. Shut up, Raheem.
They don't, for a guy that got 81 million votes, right, and Biden, they certainly don't want to talk about showing any evidence of where he got the votes. Raheem Kassam.
Yeah, look, I'll say this. I know that there is some frustration out there as well about certain things. The people who are in prison, for instance, in Washington D.C. awaiting trial, and people are sort of asking, what's happening? Where are we going? But let's think about this. Trump is clearly revving the engines, and he's begun to rev them harder and harder now. He has to do it in a strategic way. He has to do it in a planned way, in a cautious way in all of this. Because let's not forget the amount of targeting that is happening to him and his family at the very same time too. But I think this one was the first time I watched this rally. I went, wow, the engines are really, really revving here, and I think as we all like to say, the best is yet to come.
He's right too, Ward. I watched that, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you need to start paying attention. Get RSBN; they have their own app. Or you can go on Rumble, or sometimes it's even on YouTube. But he's different, man. He's naming names now, Ward. He's not playing anymore.
We all have to do that.
I agree.
We got to remind people that, hey, Liz Cheney screwed us, and keep that in everybody's face. And come 2022, when she goes to run, hey, remember, Liz Cheney screwed us. That should be whoever is running against her. That should be their campaign slogan.
Liz
Cheney
really
screwed us.
And her dad did too. And I got to tell you, I was a combat veteran in Iraqi freedom. And during the time I was serving, and even after that, I defended some of the things that they did. But I got to tell you, it was Dick Cheney that put the taxpayers on the hook for so much money you would not believe it. The money that we spent in Iraq and Afghanistan just for food. I have no idea what we spent for fuel. I know we were buying it from foreign buyers, foreign sellers. But we had cost plus contracts, and it was Cheney's company, his old company, KBR, and Halliburton, and a cost plus contract is so crazy. The only place they have them is in the military, I think. But what that is you get a dealer, a contractor, and they say, what do you want? We want 4 meals a day for 25,000 people. And they say, okay. And a cost-plus contract allows the contractor to go buy anything they want. And the more expensive the commodity is, the more they get paid in the end. Because if they give you lobster 3 times a week, they're getting the cost of that lobster plus 30%. So if they got you a bologna sandwich instead of lobster, they'd only get the cost of the bologna plus 30%. We got our asses handed to us, Ward, because of people like Dick Cheney. And the left was right about that. They were. I saw it with my own eyes. And it's sickening. I mean, why couldn't they have just let the mess hall people cook? They weren't doing anything. They were counting heads. That's all they did. Yeah. I could do a whole 5 shows on that, but that's not the point. The point is Liz Cheney sucks.
Well, Dick Cheney reminds me of the Penguin.
Darth Vader. I liked him, too, at one point, but, the guy...
I can just picture him with one of them big, long cigarette things in between his teeth. Yeah. Yeah, W, let's go get him. Yeah.
Wow. Don't. That was a good show, Batman, back in the day. So we have to really be careful of these globalists, Ward. I mean, they're plotting Macron and Merkel and the rest of them, Bojo. They're starting to have this vaccination conversation, and Biden's involved in it. Probably not Biden, unless it's Hunter. But Merkel's chief of staff told him vaccinated people will definitely have more freedoms than unvaccinated people. And that's a globalist thing. This is not going to stop over there. I mean, we could stop it, and I'm advocating stopping it. I'm saying we're at the point, folks, where, Rush Limbaugh used to always say, it's not time to panic yet. If it is, I'll tell you. Well, I'll tell you the same thing. It's not time to panic, but it's time to count your shit. You know what I mean? It's time to know where your stuff is and to start knowing what you're going to do if something happens. Because you can put all the back the blue signs you want in your yard, and we support the police. If you live in a city, just remember this. A police force is a combat unit of your mayor. If your mayor's a communist, so is your police force. If he tells them to come take your shit, they're coming. They're coming, and they will kill you. Make no mistake about that. Don't have some grandiose thought in your mind that all these police are all liberty-loving people, because they're not. They're people on the job. And I'm not demonizing them. I'm just telling you how it is. Now your sheriffs are a little different because they're elected. But 9 times out of 10, if you elected a communist mayor, you probably elected a communist sheriff too. So just think about that. Your thoughts?
I think you're right. I mean,
it sucks,
and that's
doesn't it suck?
It does. But I mean, and that's what happens. You get a place like Pittsburgh. I mean, and I only use Pittsburgh because we live here and I can watch it. And the guys that get elected, the sheriffs, it's the same as the mayors. It's whoever has the D next to their name. So you don't have an opportunity for it. And that's the thing. These people don't understand that. Why is everything so terrible? Well, I'm going to go elect another Democrat. Why is everything so terrible?
Because we want it to be. Because we just voted for it to be terrible, you dumbasses.
And that's exactly right. You're not, you're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. That is the definition of insanity.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, you see black people up there saying, it's so racist here. Well, why'd you vote for racism then? You did it.
Yeah.
You're the one that did it. Ed Gainey is not your friend, but nobody else knows who that is. So,
no. Well, I mean, none of them can understand why. It's like that's why they're trying to get rid of history, folks, because the history proves that the Democratic Party is nothing but a party of slave owners. I mean, they are the party of slavery. They are the party of the Klan. The party of lynching. You name any of that crap. That's where it come from.
And if you look at history, that you'll never hear
history because the Republicans are bad. The Republicans are the reason that the blacks are free.
Guess who the second group of people that got lynched? At first was blacks. The second group was Republican whites. 1,800 of them. Never mentioned, ever. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Cold War Radio. The Steel City Resistance Edition with Ward Miller and Hutch Bailey Jr. We'll be right back.
One America News Network, your leading source for the latest breaking national and international news. With nearly 4 times as many headlines as the other networks. Straight news, no speculation, no opinion, just the facts. Complete coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One America News Network, your source for credible news.
Trayvon!
Is it Muslim or Muslim? When baby boomers were children, it was Muslim. The American Heritage Dictionary 1992 noted, Muslim is the form predominantly preferred in journalism and popular usage. Muslim is preferred by scholars and by English-speaking adherents of Islam. No more. Now almost everybody uses Muslim. According to the Center for Non-Proliferation Studies, Muslim and Muslim are basically two different spellings for the same word. But the seemingly arbitrary choice of spellings is a sensitive subject for many followers of Islam. Whereas for most English speakers, the two words are synonymous in meaning, the Arabic roots of the two words are very different. A Muslim in Arabic means one who gives himself to God and is by definition someone who adheres to Islam. By contrast, a Muslim in Arabic means one who is evil and unjust when the word is pronounced as it is in English, Muslim with a Z. For others, this spelling differentiation is merely a linguistic matter, with the two spellings a result of variation in transliteration methods. Both Muslim and Muslim are used as nouns, but some writers use Muslim when the word is employed as an adjective. Journalists switched to Muslim from Muslim in recent years under pressure from Islamic groups, but the use of the word Muslim has not entirely ceased. Established institutions like Cold War Radio, which use the older form of the name, have been reluctant to change. The American Muslim Foundation is still the American Muslim Foundation, much as the NAACP is still the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The journal, The Muslim World, published by the Hartford Seminary in Connecticut, is still the Muslim World. The religion of peace, ladies and gentlemen, one body at a time. A representative republic, not a democracy. Cold War Radio celebrates and defends this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., your host. Ward, Sal, and Jack are my wingmen, and your live calls let it all make sense. Join us, Cold War Radio, live on Spreaker and forever on all podcast platforms.
from Pittsburgh Studio Number 1, it's Cold War Radio. Here's your host, Hutch Bailey Jr.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
It's the Chicago Report with Ward Miller. Yay! "73 people were hit by gunfire in Chicago over the weekend. At least 11 died, including a 17-year-old.
Damn!
The teen was attacked while he and a 15-year-old were in the backyard of a home in the 6800 block of South Peoria Street.
75 people, man. Jeez, you'd think that they would take matters into their own hands or something.
Well, I saw a thing, too, where Beetlejuice had a press conference, and she was saying, and she only took questions from reporters of color.
From the brothers. Right.
I don't understand how they don't turn around and file a suit against her.
I don't know. Because I read an article about this, about the White House press corps. And they're not a press corps, man. They're slaves. That's all they are.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, okay, you work for the Chicago Sun-Times or whatever it is, right?
Which is owned by the city. Not really.
But you're a reporter for them, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to do your job, and you're being hampered for doing your job. That's a violation of the Constitution.
I know, but their job is not what you think it is. Their job is to keep her in power. That's what their job is. That's what the job of the White House press corps is to keep Jen Psaki happy and to make everything that Joe Biden does look okay. I mean, it's really sickening. These people, Kurt Schlichter wrote a very good article I would suggest it's not that long, on townhall.com about it's fun to watch the press in their humiliation because, and he characterizes it beautifully. He's like, they're not journalists. They might as well be employees of the White House. They're patsies. They're supposed to be humiliated. They don't care. They like it. He likened Jen Psaki to a dominatrix. He said, she was wearing all black. She should have been wearing vinyl. And I'm thinking, you're right, man. I mean, these people, they're freaking less than people.
Well, you look at the guys on CNN like Stelter and Costa and whatnot. Now, here's my question. Here's the question I have. Now, did they go to J school, or did somebody say, you know what, there, Stelter, you're attractive enough to have your own TV show?
Looking like a potato.
Yeah, I don't think that happened. I think he got pictures of somebody in a goat, because there's no way you say this guy's attractive enough. I mean,
with a squeaky voice.
But you look at Cuomo. I mean, Cuomo's a jerk and whatnot, but I mean, at least he's, I guess, he doesn't look like a potato.
He's nauseating to me. He looks like a freaking Cro-Magnon man to me.
He looks like an anchor. He looks like the guy you'd see anchoring the 6 o'clock news. That's what he looks like.
You got Don Lemon that has the white husband. I mean, the whole thing is sickening. It's all sickening. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Oregon, the state of Oregon. But this is Marlene. She might be on vacation in Australia or something. What's going on, Marlene?
Hello, Ward. No, I am not on vacation in Australia. Okay. I am actually up in Newport, Oregon.
See, I knew it.
Yeah. And it's
nothing wrong with that.
Out here. No, it's actually beautiful. Dave and I haven't been up here in a long time.
Cool.
So we've been hanging out. We're going to probably head back to Eugene on Wednesday.
Is it a conservative area that you're in?
Newport?
Yeah.
I would say no.
I've never been to Oregon. I don't know.
Where we usually go, Florence actually is pretty conservative, but not up here.
Okay.
They're weird up here.
Something in the air.
Anyway, yeah. I was going to mention, yes, I actually have had Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Haven't eaten it in a while, but I have had it. And some of the flavors are actually quite good.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. And yes, I remember Tab. I couldn't stand the stuff, but I remember it. I remember it in the bottles.
I remember it. Oh yeah, those bottles. Yeah, remember the. Here's a good story. Remember the pop machines? I'm from Pittsburgh, so it's always going to be pop to me, right? But pop machines that had it was a refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it had a very narrow glass door.
Yeah.
On the left hand side, and there was bottles loaded in it with like it was almost like a revolver magazine, but it was straight across.
I remember those.
And you would put your money in, and it would unlock the thing holding the bottle in, and then you'd pull the bottle out, and another one would go in there, and it would lock in, and there was a bottle opener in the machine, and you drink your pop. Well, they shouldn't have put that around us, man. You know what I mean? They just should have never done that, because we came in there with the bottle opener and the glass. And we popped the bottle open and put the glass under it and tipped the machine over until it poured into the glass. You know, I mean, you could only do it if there was 10 bottles displayed. You could only do it for 10.
You're such a damn criminal, man.
I'm a dick, man. And you know the worst part about it? It was in a church. You know, that was the worst part.
So you know the guy that come in behind you, puts his money and pulls it out and goes, hey.
God bless you, man. Peace be with you. Always with you. I mean, it's just.
It is. It's
told on myself.
It's remembering when we were young.
Oh, I was a tyrant, man. Anyway.
Oh, you sound like you were. It's great. I was a good kid. I didn't start going cuckoo till end of high school.
Appreciate that lunch money, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I wasn't that bad.
I know. But anyway, this is completely off the charts, but I was listening to Steel City Resistance. Actually, I had to finish it up this morning.
Okay.
But you guys were talking about Ahmad Rashad and Valerie Jarrett. Now, I did not know that those two even dated or whether they got married.
I don't even remember that.
But I do know that when I was a little kid, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember what year.
I thought he married the Cosby wife.
Yeah, he married Felicia Rashad.
Rashad, yeah.
Okay, but anyway, he was the football player. He was at University of Oregon from 1969 to 72. Okay. And he was in there the same time that Dan Fouts was in there.
All right,
I was a little kid. I remember him playing, but like I say, I was a little munchkin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't.
Then he played for the Vikings.
Yeah, he did. And
he was the wide receiver.
That was the guy. That was the guy that I had to get rid of. My co-host on that show. You'll hear it. I mean, keep listening. I think he was on Cold War Radio too. I can't remember where. I can't remember.
Oh, you mean Mr. J?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the guy too. I loved him, man. He was a great guy, but he just.
I mean, from
he
what
hated
I'm
Trump,
man. Now he's actually. Oh, I know.
He hated Trump. He was a. Matter of fact, Ward recommended him to me.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
You do? You were listening? You've been listening that long?
Well, I've been catching up.
Oh, okay. Because you remember that Ward? Because you got sick, and I didn't even know you were sick.
Yeah,
I just knew you were leaving, and you said, well, you ought to get this guy. And I asked him, and he was a perfect fit. I didn't miss a show. I mean, I think there was maybe one or two shows I did by myself. And then, man, he came right in, and I met him, and we went to CPAC and went to a bunch of places. And he was a really good guy, but he just did not like Trump, man. He was a Republican Party guy in his neighborhood, and he wasn't having it. And he started, him not being for Trump wasn't enough for me to get rid of him. He was starting to post stuff where Trump was abusing his daughter, right?
That is the biggest bunch of baloney.
That pissed me off.
Trump would not do that.
That pissed me off so bad. That was the end of it, man. It was like, all right, you're out, man. Sorry.
Oh, I hear you.
Got to go.
That's
man.
okay.
I'm not doing that. I got a daughter too. That sucks.
I know.
And so does he. But anyway. Good guy. No. Other than that, great guy. I have nothing bad to say about him other than our, opinions clashing.
A big time.
Well, and the thing is, too, though, at the same time, you can always have opinions, a differing of opinions, but at the same time, you have to be able to agree to disagree.
Exactly.
I mean, right. I may not. There's people that I like that I know Hutch is going to hate. But at the same time, I'm not going to put it in your face and go, "Hey, remember this guy? Remember this guy? Hey, what about this guy said hi?" But that kind of thing. And you just want to choke me. I mean, and I understand that, but you have to be. I mean, especially and it's kind of a show,
right? You can do it on the side, or we're drinking beer or something. But like I said, I decided at the time that the mission of the show was going to change to elect this dude because I felt he was the best guy for the country. And I got this little platform, and it's like, this is a pro-Trump show. If you can't handle that, you can't be on here.
Exactly.
And that's just it was a command decision I had to make, and I'm still glad I made it. I miss the guy though. I do. He was a wealth of information and a really good host.
When I was, yeah. But anyway, I was going to mention.
But Ward's better.
When Trump got started. Actually, I wasn't like you were for Dr. Carson. I wasn't sure who I wanted. I was thinking about Dr. Carson, either him or maybe Herman Cain. I wasn't sure.
But it was two different elections.
I know.
Yeah, I like Cain too. Cain was our guy too, for sure.
Yeah. We liked Cain. We liked Alan West.
Alan West was great. I was on the show.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, I wish
Alan. That would have been cool. He's running for governor, I guess, in Texas. Damn, I hope he makes it. I really do.
I don't know on that one. I mean, yeah, I kind of do.
I'd like to see him win because he's Alan West, but at the same time, I don't see where he's going to do anything different than Abbott
or better.
Okay, well, that's better.
Exactly. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
I would like. I'd
like to see him. I'd like to see him get in a state like Arizona. Or or Georgia,
New York, Pennsylvania.
New York. Well, he wouldn't have a shot in either of them. I mean, but he would have a shot like in Georgia and whatnot.
Yeah, but Herschel Walker's down there, and Mitch McConnell's trying to take Herschel Walker out of Georgia right now. Mitch McConnell, folks, Mitch McConnell is trying to take Herschel Walker, who will win in Georgia.
Herschel Walker wins in Georgia.
Herschel Walker in Georgia is like John Murtha in Johnstown. Herschel Walker played for the Bulldogs. He was the best running back they ever had. While I was in Fort Benning, I watched the Georgians watch him. And the Democrats, the brothers loved him, which are almost synonymous with most Democrats in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But Mitch McConnell, man, he doesn't want another MAGA guy up there. So he's pushing for that woman, whoever she was, that I forget her name. I'm not prepared for this conversation. But anyway, go ahead, Marlene.
That's okay. I was going to say what really got me to vote for Trump the first time around was his stance on illegal immigration, because all those illegals that are in California, they come right up I-5, right up into Oregon and on up to Washington.
I don't know.
We're taking over everything.
Ward, have you noticed? I don't know how the East End is really, but over here, dude, it's turning into Mexico, man. It is really, I mean, Brookline Boulevard has a Mexican grocery store on it that has a taco stand out in front.
Oh, my God. That sounds like...
They got 3 picnic tables out there, and, man, if we had ice, if there was an ice, they could just get their Creole limit every day right there. They could just pull up with a van and put them little short puckers in the van and take them. I mean, and you look over in Beachview, it's the same way. Beachview has all.
Just a couple years ago, Peduto came out and said that we would accept. Don't you remember that? We were going to be.
I do. I'm damn sure. It wasn't just Mexicans. That was Islamic.
Well, no, it was everybody. It was, we're going to accept we're going to be a sanctuary city and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, so I guess he was, and then the media quit reporting on it. So apparently he's been bringing them in and sticking them in Brookline.
Yeah. Because this is the conservative part. I mean, it's not even conservative, but to them it is, because we have American flags and stuff. I mean,
oh my goodness.
That's the way it is. I'm looking for this thing. But anyway, what else is on your mind?
It sounds like our west side of town. You go up and down a couple of the main streets over there, and Mexican grocery. Mexican this, Mexican that. I mean,
Oh yeah, Western Union, send your money back to Mexico from here.
You got it.
That's what they're doing, man. They're cha-chinging it right back home. Did you know that the number one industry in Mexico is the U.S. dollar? That's the number one industry. The biggest revenue that they have is money coming in from Western Union. And they're not counting, now obviously, they're not counting the cocaine and the marijuana and the fentanyl.
Right, but when the money comes back, when the money comes back for that, that's in dollars too.
Right,
because
that's true.
The peso's crap.
Okay, you got it. That's good. All right, wrap it up, Marlene. What else you got?
Okay, I guess in closing, I'm just saying that we're enjoying. Oh gosh, we got some sun coming through. We're sitting in a hotel where we're looking out over the beach, and I guess the sun's trying to break through the fog, but no, it's beautiful up here.
All right.
And I put just so for a little bit of a laugh, I put a picture in the other chat room. There's a tavern in I guess it's the traditional historic old part of Newport, and there's a really cute little sign on top of this tavern, and it's I'll let people in the chat who are in there go look at it, and it's basically something about winos. Oh, shoot, I'll have to look it up later. But anyway, it's in there, and it was really funny. Something about winos and riffraff.
Okay, well,
perfect.
Everybody go check it out. Marlene, thanks for calling. We always appreciate it.
You're welcome, Hutch.
All right, there's Marlene from from Newport, Oregon. I guess I must have pissed the callers off. I don't know. 412-206-6208. We used to have them lined up, man. I guess that's all right, though. We got a lot of material here. Experts Clements and Keschel. One is a professor at New Mexico University. The other is an Army intelligence captain. Say they've analyzed the election, and they say that the Trump victory margin in Michigan is at 373,000 votes. Trump won 52.9% to 45.4%. Experts Clements and Keschel say that Trump victory margin in Pennsylvania is at 424,000 votes stolen by fraud. Trump won 52% to 46%. I would say that's low, because when I went to bed, it was 700,000. So they're probably throwing out a lot of the votes that, like, it could be Democrat, but they know damn well it was Republican, those kind of votes.
Yeah. Or, maybe when they were cleaning them up, they said, hey, these are the ones that only had, there was only votes for Biden.
Right.
It was the only mark on it, or it wasn't folded, or it wasn't, whatever. I mean, hell, some of the mail-in ballots came back, before they were supposed to be mailed.
I know. And they were never on the list of places that they mail ballots to.
Yeah.
There's so much real evidence. And, there's so many more states that are starting to stand up. I mean, it's a damn shame it took this long. But I think people are starting to – I think what it is I think representatives are going out to the bar in their district, and they're listening to psychos like me, saying, damn it, something's going to happen. You're pissing people off, because they are. There's articles. You look out online where we go to get information for our shows, and there's article after article out there of people furious, man. I mean, this is not going to end well for you communists. It's not. I hope it's not. It shouldn't. It may. And I mean, we might end up being Germany, man. We might end up, all right, give me my star. I'll put it on my shirt. I don't have a vaccination. I'll go ahead. As long as nobody hits me, I'll be all right. And then they'll kill our family in the next year. That's the way this works, folks. America's no different than Germany. No different. Well, there's one thing that's different. And that's that little room in my house that has all that equipment in it. And all of you have the same thing. Second Amendment is the only difference. We better not squander it. We better damn sure not squander it. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America.
Chairman Leahy, Leader McCarthy, Senator Casey, Congressman Scott, Congressman... Where is he? There you are, Paul. You understand this better than anybody does. I want to thank you, Congressman, for all your work. And I want to thank you all for being here. Second, by the way, where's Mom? Mom, is she here? Oh, she's watching. Okay,
Joe,
I thought
your
you
mom's
looked and
dead.
said, Mom is out there. I was going to ask her to stand up, but Mom, you can't stand up if you're home.
I mean, this is embarrassing, Ward. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, you can't make this shit up. You can't.
No, I'll tell
This
you
is
what,
every day, all day.
Absolutely.
I could have played 20 clips.
Yeah, every time you hear, you know, you can't get on Facebook or anything and not have somebody go, you know, have something come up that says, you know, you need the Biden decoder ring to figure out what the hell he's saying, because he just goes off the chart, and it's like he's talking, and when he gets lost, he just rambles and makes stuff up.
I remember when Brett Maddow quoted the term word salad.
Exactly.
And it was perfect, man. I mean, she had the perfect explanation. Word salad.
Yeah, because it's like his brain looks for a word that's not there, and it's just, well, I'll just use this one. This is the same thing. White powder. Okay, we're going to talk about white powder. What has anything to do with white powder? Hunter. Hey, we'll talk about Hunter. Hunter's selling paintings now. Yeah, we're selling paintings. That's watercolors he does in the back room.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Sells them for a couple $100,000.
Ken from King George, what's happening, man?
I'm not in King George tonight.
Where you at?
Down in Vi Beach again.
Uh-oh. Virginia
Yeah,
Beach. Fort Story?
Work called me up again on last Wednesday and gave me one of those last minute, hey, we need to down in Virginia Beach.
And you're like, oh, man, really? I don't want to go
That's
down
tragic.
there. But okay,
Yeah, I gotta go to Virginia Beach.
I know. In July.
On the traffic.
In July, yeah. We feel really bad for you there, Ken.
Yeah. Can you send pictures at least of the beach? I mean, can we get some of the, you know
I'm not on the beach.
Oh.
Okay, let's start out there.
Okay,
And,
you're a
yeah, I've
block
been
away
working
from the
at-
beach.
Now we're actually about 8-10 miles from the beach. I'm
Damn!
on Independence. Yeah, that was the closest I could get. So
See,
yeah,
now he's
it's
trying to make
summertime.
it. He's trying to make it like it's tough now. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead, though.
We
Now,
know
the
you
first
got it
time I
hard.
did come down here, yeah, I did. I was fortunate enough to have oceanfront hotel, but yeah, we've been working 10-hour days, and yeah, the traffic down here still sucks. Like when I was stationed down here, so yeah, they can have all this crap.
Right.
Are you up
Right.
near the? Are you up near the naval base, or are you further?
I'm about halfway between NOB and Oceana. That's where the hotel is, but where we're working is out close to the Oceana Naval Air Station.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, you hear F-18s flying overhead all day. So
Yeah,
Just
I went
be
down,
just be
I was
glad you
down-
don't have to listen to the afterburners. They're not allowed to use them down there. In Iraq, man, they used every single takeoff was afterburner. It looked cool in the night. It looked really cool, but man, it was loud.
Yeah.
Good.
oh yeah, I spent 2 weeks on the USS Stennis. So yeah, and they run flight ops 24/7 on that thing. So especially before deployment. So there's kind of some, you just get to the point where you just drown it out and you can sleep right through it. So
Yep, that's what happened to me, man. I just drowned it out. You know, it's just between that and the generators and the drones.
Well, I think your brain just gets to the point where, okay, this is just white noise now.
That's
Just-
right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna ignore it. And
then you get home and
it
your
was-
wife talks to you and you, huh? Did you say
Well,
something?
When I was in the Air Force, I was stationed at Shaw, and when I first got there, we had F4s.
Right.
And the F4s show you absolutely nothing other than if you put a big enough engine on a garbage truck, it'll fly. Because they have these two big monster engines, and we were in exercise mode, and they were just flying sortie after sortie of these F4s. And I'll tell you what, every window in my damn house rattled.
Yeah.
You know, every time that they'd take off, and they were launching, like 30 or 40 of them, an hour.
Right. No, I know
Jesus.
exactly. They said that air base at LSA Anaconda that I was at was the busiest air base in the Department of Defense. I mean, a jet went up every 5 minutes, I think, man. I mean, like all the time. And they weren't going on training missions. They were expending ordnance every time. It was nuts. Those engines are pretty cool, though, because I was into tanks. And we had, until they got the M1, the diesel fuel, it wasn't very efficient, those big diesel engines, But when they got that aircraft engine, that Pratt & Whitney and the M1 Abrams, all of a sudden there's no more exhaust smoke, man. It's burning 100% of that fuel, same way those jets do.
I'll tell you what, them M1s are amazing.
They are.
I mean, to watch the guidance system on that turret, and it's tracking something, and the damn tank's going 70 mile an hour off road, and the gun's staying locked on target.
Right.
It's just amazing.
One of the developments was the shock absorbers. We went with the Nazi, actually, the Germans. Shock absorber engineering, actually not the Nazis, the West Germans, and changed it where it wasn't a hydraulic cylinder anymore. It was a different situation. I'm not going to waste the time on explaining right now, but because you couldn't survive in a tank going that fast over terrain if it wasn't for that. You'd come out there with blown up kidneys, and there ain't a seatbelt in the world that will hold you in a tank that's 70 tons going across terrain
moving 70 miles an hour.
I mean, it ain't going that fast, but,
Well, I mean, it can.
40, 50 miles an hour is like freaking fast as hell in a tank. I mean, nobody else can do it. Except for maybe the Merkava in Israel. That's a badass tank, too. But anyway, Ken, not to take away from your time.
Oh, hey, it sparked something, another interesting conversation. But yeah, so you played a little clip from Biden. I mean, has he ever had a speech in the last, 2-3 months that, he doesn't go off on these weird tangents?
No, man, he's lost, man. They're going to have to. Here's what they're going to do. Here's what I think they're going to do. They're going to create a false flag to CIA, and you know how this works. And they're going to have Steve Bannon will probably assassinate him, or maybe maybe the guy that has 3 limbs blown off, Brian Colfage, he'll probably assassinate him, or something like that. They're gonna kill him. They're going to kill him. There's no question about it. They're going to kill him.
I don't know, because there was I can't remember the congressman's name, but he just brought up a thing to press charges against Jill for elder abuse.
Well, she should. Can you imagine? Now I've
said that since he got elected.
These
these
sorry son of a bitches on the U.S. swimming team. What a bunch of communist bastards. Jill Biden, the most disgusting woman in the United States of America, in my opinion, comes to the swim meet at the Olympics, and they all start cheering her. Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, like she's some kind of a folk hero. This bitch gave her husband up. Can you imagine? Man, I told my wife, don't ever do this, please. Just shoot me. Don't do this to me. What that woman is doing to that man is satanic. It really is. It is the epitome of gold digger. She should not be loved by anybody. She should be reviled.
Well, the thing is, that I think is really funny is you get people on the left. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg was actually calling for her to be the Surgeon General.
She's not even a medical doctor.
It's like, you do realize her doctorate is in English, right? I mean, she can diagram a sentence like nobody's business, but I don't want her operating on me.
Right.
Yeah, she'll conjugate the crap out of a verb, but I don't want her anywhere near me with a knife.
Ask somebody 18 years old what that means, and they'll look at you like you're stupid. Just because that's the way it is. But I remember, and here's the reason, Ken. I just went through this. Actually, it's been 7 months, man. I'm starting to feel good, Ward. I'm getting ready to hit that 1 year mark. But I went through this massive medical situation where I had a pretty long recovery that required some help. And my wife was angelic, man. I mean, she was there. And then I see this with Jill Biden. I'm thinking, what a sick person she is, man. She's hideous. She is disgusting to me. She's worse than Joe Biden, worse than Hunter, worse than anybody. She is a sick, evil bitch.
Add to the fact that she advocates for Hunter, that she makes excuses for Hunter.
And that's not even her son.
No, but
He's
made
probably
excuses.
No, I ain't going there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. She came in and made excuses for him when he's out banging his dead brother's wife,
right?
Or whatever, and then knocks up a stripper. And it's one of them things where we need to put that on. I'm going to make a graphic for it, and I'm going to put it on our Facebook page because it's like, okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Facebook page will be down for the next 6 months, but we'll be right. We'll be back.
But we need something that says, there's a 2-year-old girl whose mother's a stripper, whose dad's a crackhead, and his father's the president of the United States. Fact check that.
Yeah, like the kid that Clinton fathered. Remember that black kid came out, that Obama kid, whatever.
That went right under the rug.
Went right under the rug. The dude's still alive. Maybe they killed him. Did they kill him?
I don't know. And I mean, if they did, they probably wouldn't televise it, or
right.
Or if they did, it would have been real quick on the news cycle.
Yeah. What do I have? I have something. Oh, I didn't record it.
Hey, real
Ken,
quick, what?
Ken, down in Virginia, Terry McAuliffe had an event, and President Asterix was there, and he got heckled. Man, did you see that?
No, I haven't. I've been working. So I haven't really had a chance to pay attention to a whole lot of anything other than driving to work.
Okay.
So
right. 10 hours wiped you out, huh? Oh, that's right. You're a Navy guy. That's right. That's cool. No. I'm just kidding. I had to, man. I had to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what? You had something? What's up?
Okay, well, you guys were talking about rugs, and so for dinner tonight, I ended up going over to this little pizza joint around the corner.
All right.
And I brought some extra packets of Parmesan cheese that, just in case Hunter decides to show up, it'll be a party.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Ken, we appreciate the fact that you're prepared in case the first son shows up. I mean, I guess he is the first son because the real first son's dead, so.
The dude's like over 50 years old, too.
promoted.
He's over 50 years old. He's way too old to be doing this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, it's this guy, jeez.
Well, I mean, think about this, though. There was
watercolors.
There's actually evidence that Joe Biden molested his daughter.
No doubt.
There's evidence.
She said she had those uncomfortable showers, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine taking your shower with your grandfather, her dad or whatever?
No, that was her dad.
That's disgusting.
That makes it even worse.
That's disgusting. That's sick. That's sick. Jill Biden, you're sick too. You're the one that let it all happen. Jill Biden. Wow. What an animal. What an animal. I'm sorry, man. I mean, she's not majestic to me. She's not royalty to me. She is the worst of the worst, in my opinion. What do you think, Ken? What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole family's just got issues, But hey, people, in the media loves them, because.
Yeah, but we can't put up with that, man. Now, here's the thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. We have a vast majority that believe like we do, and we have this little minority. And I noticed, let me give you an example. Van Morrison, you've heard of him. You're a little younger than that era, but I'm sure you've heard of him. Sure you heard of Eric Clapton. These are superstars. Superstars. Marlene sent me a second song to follow up Stand and Deliver, if you remember I played that song. And when she sent it to me, the reason I didn't play it was because underneath the song, Van Morrison was trying to sell it. And he was trying to sell it for like $45, a lot of money. And YouTube crushed this guy. This should have had 5 million views, and it had 113,000 views. And it was put on YouTube in May. That's bullshit, man. That's the big tech crushing them. You know, and when you see that, we massively outnumber these pigs. And we're going to have to make it known pretty soon. And we're going to have to do it by putting our boots on the ground somewhere. We're going to have to. And once we do that, once regular people, like there have already been thousands and even tens of thousands of people that have shown up at different places. But once the regular people that don't do that, like me, now I did go to a couple Trump rallies, but that's going to be the starting point. Because I don't think they realize how many people they're pissing off. I really don't. Especially in our 2 states, in Virginia and Pennsylvania. I mean, these are righteous states, man. You know, growing up, they are. But anyway, your final comments, sir. Got 15 minutes left.
I just, you guys continue on with the show. Like I said, I missed the first half of it, so
you go back and listen to it. It was good.
Feeding my face. So. But,
well, you're going to like this next clip I'm getting ready to play. You're going to enjoy it. Well, or it's going to piss you off. It's probably going to piss you off, but that's kind of my mission sometimes, you know.
But yeah, when I went over to this pizza joint, they had the Olympics on, and Christ, we were just about getting our ass kicked by China and freaking water polo. And I was like, really?
Did we lose? I hope we lost. Did we lose?
I have no idea.
Have you ever seen an Olympics where people are hoping that we lose? I mean, now that's a movement right there. That's a move. I've been watching the Olympics all my life, just like all of us have, and always rooting for our guys. I don't want these fools to win. Do you? They hate our country.
Well, no, the ones that are taking a knee and whatnot, hell no. I want them to.
Isn't that all of them?
I want the no. A vast majority of them, it's not.
Really?
You got the yeah.
But the Olympic Committee is. I mean, the people that's organizing it are.
Well, actually, Japan is supposed to be initially said that there was going to be penalties if you disrespected, national anthems.
Notice how that's happening.
Well, the thing is that they're not winning.
Okay, there you go.
So they're not going. They're not on the platform to do it. I think that if they, that's what they're talking about. It's kind of like the, not Carl Lewis. What was his name? Jesse Owens thing. Where they, they're trying to make a political statement at the Olympics.
That's what they're doing.
I think that they're going to shut it down. Well, they're doing that not on the stand though. I mean, that's when they have focus.
I would like to see it be a complete and total disaster for the United States team so they never do this shit again. Never again, man. This should be the line in the sand. Because the ratings are already down so low. Have you looked at the ratings for the opening ceremony? It's like 13 million, and it's usually 35 million. I saw a graphic with like the last 60 years, or 50 maybe, however long TV's been in there. And it's the worst in 35 years.
Well, I mean, there's other things that come into play too. For the last how many years were there only 4 channels that you had, where pretty much the Olympics were the only shot you had to watch anything. Now,
But I loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I cheered for our guys, regardless, because they were Team USA. And I don't think, as soon as somebody misbehaves, and this is my opinion, and you can tell me I'm wrong, whatever. But if you're on a hockey team, all right, I played hockey, and if I were to disrespect my team or my school, if I said, "Hey, screw the school, I don't give a damn," they could throw me off the team,
and should,
and they would,
right?
Especially where I went to school. They
would have thrown Mr. Wheeler that came and found your ass.
Absolutely, but well, I have a lot more class than that,
right?
So, but these idiots are out there. It's like you've
won the
opportunity. Exactly, you've won the opportunity to represent your country against the world, man.
And it used to be a war. Cold War radio was Cold War Olympics. That's the way the Olympics were. It was a war without bullets. All right, Ken, thanks for calling, man. Appreciate it all the time. Don't work too hard, man. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself down there, brother. Thanks for calling. Thank you for calling. All right.
Take it easy.
All right. I want to play one more clip. We're running out of time here. I want you to listen to this old communist, quote-unquote journalist, Carl Bernstein. You're not going to believe this. This is something our country is becoming really polarized, and the small percentage of leftists see the writing on the wall. They know they're going to get their asses handed to them in 2022. And I think with governors like Ron DeSantis and some of the young Republicans that are coming up that are not like Mitch McConnell, not like Pat Toomey, that want blood like we do, they know their days are numbered. I want you to listen to this old bastard and just remember, he's a Jew. He's going to say all this garbage, but he's a Jew. Listen to this guy on CNN.
When you're talking about Trump, we're obviously talking about a kind of delusional madness, such as General Milley was talking about, that is on a scale and a scope that we have never experienced in an American president in our history. I think we need to calmly step back and maybe look at Trump in a different context. He is our own American war criminal, of a kind we've never experienced before.
You just said war criminal.
That's the potato.
Of course
I did. Well, in international law, there have been, quote, crimes against humanity. I think what we're talking about, Trump's crimes as an American war criminal in his own country that he has perpetrated upon our people, including the tens of thousands of people who died because of his homicidal negligence in the pandemic, putting his own electoral interest above the health of our people as they were slaughtered in this pandemic. Looking at his actions in terms of fomenting a coup to hold on to office in which the head
millions
of the American
died.
Military, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has now compared
fat jelly
Trump,
roll.
not the press, not reporters comparing Trump to Hitler, but rather the head of the American military comparing him and his movement to brown shirts, to the Reichstag fire. This is a huge wake-up call to this country when General Milley, the head of the American military, has said this. And it fits as a piece with something so extraordinary in our history. It's not political. Trump is not just political. He transcends the political, and we need to start looking at his crimes in that context.
Carl Bernstein, let me educate your fat ass a little bit real quick. General Milley, a Princeton graduate that never even got close to the United States Military Academy, which is a communist organization now anyway, is not and never was and never will be the head of the U.S. military. At the time, President Donald J. Trump was the head of the U.S. military, the commander-in-chief. And General Milley, it's beyond belief to me that he's not in Leavenworth as Private Milley awaiting execution. This guy, I mean, what he did in our system, Ward, and you know it, and I know it well, is unconscionable.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. CNN does this because they have no ratings ever since Trump left office because they're not allowed to bitch about Biden. They can't say anything about the administration at all. All they can come up with is Trump was a domestic war criminal. Get the hell out of here.
I know, right?
And they paddle him out because it's like, okay, here's a guy that hates
He's getting ready to die. Yeah, he's getting ready to die. He ruined Nixon because a disgruntled Gestapo agent at the FBI fed him information. And that's how it happened.
But what has he done since then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing. You're right.
No.
You're right.
And like I said, CNN parades him out every time they need somebody to bitch about Trump. And he has no compunction about what in the hell is a domestic war criminal?
I know.
That is the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my
died, man. What are you
life.
talking about? Who died, man? Ashley Babbitt died. Where's that freaking cock? Where's that cop? Almost blew it. I almost went full explicit there.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, in fact, her mother is, the last I heard, she was trying to bring charges against Nancy.
I hope that happens. I mean, because she's the one, Nancy Pelosi of Maryland, of Baltimore's D'Alessandro crime family, was the one who set the security standards up to where it happened. I mean, these Gestapo agents at the Capitol Police, which is run, thank you, Jack, for letting everybody know, which is run by Congress. This is a congressional police force. And she was in charge of Congress, so she told them what to do. And just like I told you about the Pittsburgh police, the New York City police, any shithole city in this country, the police are communist soldiers. That's the same as the Capitol. And that's what they are. It is what it is. You know, do you know, Ward, that in Pittsburgh, the people that are driving around in government cars with guns and rifles and shotguns and everything else in our city don't even live in our city? Did you know that?
It used to be that was a prerequisite.
It's not anymore. Not for the police, only the firemen.
So that's bullshit. Well,
only the
apparently,
firemen. And the firemen are pushing for it too. Because they don't want to live here.
No. And I mean, you can't blame them.
They just want to come in here and bust heads. That's all they want to do. They don't want to live here. You know, it's disgusting.
I mean, job's a job. I had a buddy of mine that worked for the city, just working at, one of the, senior centers, like
one of the agencies, sure.
Yeah, and they hand out basketballs.
It used to be an honorable profession.
Yeah, I mean, they hand out basketballs and shit.
Yeah, when I was a civil servant for the federal government, for the Army, it was an honorable thing to do. You know, but anymore, man, oh, geez, I don't know.
Well, no, he got fired because he didn't live in the city.
Right. No, and really, if the city, any city, not just Pittsburgh, but if the city's paying the bills, then you ought to put some of that money back in taxes, is the whole idea. Plus, if you're a cop, you're not what do they call it? You're not gun for hire. You live there. Yeah. You have skin in the game. You know, you're not one of the people that, is just out there selling their gun. I'll commit. What's the name of that thing? I can't think of the name of it. Of when you're
what's a gun for hire?
Yeah, what's that called? Oh, there's a word for it. I can't think of it. Anyway, that's because I'm Joe Biden.
A hitman.
Right? A hitman, but
it's a hitman.
All right, that's good enough. I got one more clip, and then we're going to get out of here. I want to talk about this guy Fauci, man. What a guy! I mean, he is. I don't know how to. He thinks he's royalty. Let's listen.
We only have a little time left. I want to ask you, sources are telling CNN that top health officials are weighing whether to revise mask guidelines for vaccinated Americans. Are you part of those conversations? And if so, what are you advising? Do you think masks should be brought back for vaccinated Americans?
Jake, this is under active consideration. If you're asking, am I part of the discussion? Yes, I am part of the discussion. But I think what you are seeing, even though as of our conversation at this moment, the CDC still says and recommends that if you are vaccinated fully, that you do not need to wear a mask indoors. However, if you look at what's going on locally in the trenches in places like LA County, the local officials have the discretion, and the CDC agrees with that ability and discretion capability to say, you're in a situation where we're having a lot of dynamics of infection, so even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask. That's a local decision that's not incompatible with the CDC's overall recommendations that give a lot of discretion to the locals. And we're seeing that in LA, we're seeing it in Chicago, we're seeing that in New Orleans, because the officials there, many of them are saying, even if you're vaccinated, it's prudent to wear a mask indoors. So that's a local decision.
All right, Dr. Fauci, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, we really appreciate it, man. I mean,
I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
All right.
Doesn't Fauci have like world's most punchable face?
Indeed, man. Indeed. I want to meet the guy. I do, kind of.
I don't want to meet him. I just want to punch him in the mouth.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I want to see him. I want to see him, and we need to have a conversation. But anyway, the whole thing. Oh, one more thing, by the way. Representative Steve Scalise, who shouldn't be in the Republican leadership, said that the DOJ had decided against opening an investigation into COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes in New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New Jersey. The Civil Rights Division requested information from New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New Jersey regarding COVID-19 and nursing facilities run by or for those states. The DO asterisk said in its letter signed by Deputy Assistant Attorney General Joe Gaeta. Now, to me, that's like Sal sent me that, and I'm like, all right, man, we gotta get a little more optimistic here. We can't be staying so pessimistic. What about the families? Can we, initiate some litigation from the families? I mean, the transtesticle lady, transtesticle lady dude from Pennsylvania moved his mother out of the nursing home before they started putting these infected people in. You remember that?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
And I mean, this is unacceptable, and it only stands if we let it stand. Somebody has to make some noise.
Okay, so they won't let them do it from on
Screw the DOJ, right? Do it from the people. Go find a lawyer.
Do a civil suit and sue these governors for millions of dollars.
Exactly. Somebody in the chat room. I'm not going to say who it was because I'm not trying to fault anybody. But they said, hey, President Trump and DeSantis, they're going to set us free. No, ladies and gentlemen, nobody's going to set us free. We have to demand freedom. Nobody is going to come. We're not going to be able to sit in our houses with our masks on and ordering Grubhub food and Netflix movies and just stay in your house. That's not going to work, man. That's not going to work. If we want our country back, we're going to have to take the damn thing back, Ward.
I agree.
I mean that 100%. It's going to mean we're going to have to go travel. We're going to have to get off our asses. We're going to have to put our logistical hats on and realize how much water are we going to need? How much food are we going to need? Do we need to buy 17,000 rolls of toilet paper, or maybe 5 will work? What are we going to do here? Are we going to go to point B and stand up? It's the only way, man. And I'm about done with just being behind a microphone. It's something, I don't know what to do yet. I haven't figured it out. But I am starting to realize, Ward, it's time to take this up to another level, in my opinion. Your thoughts, man? I don't know.
It's hard to say. Because we know the crap that's in there, right?
Yeah.
So by nature I'm an optimist.
I know.
So I'm looking at 2022. We just got to suck it up for another year, and
that's what I'm hoping too. That's what I'm hoping too.
And I'm hoping that enough people wake up and realize what the Democrats have done, and they elect overwhelmingly Republican congressmen and senators, and
school board members and mayors.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that comes too. And that it has to come down from the top, or maybe go from the bottom up.
I think maybe from the bottom might be. Of course, we need them both.
Yeah, but we need something. We need a win.
We do, man. We do. I agree. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be here for you. We will. And with that, I will say great show, Ward, as usual. I'm probably going to knock this studio down and move it to in-studio. I don't know if Sal's listening or not, but the in-studio episodes are suspended until further notice. I'm getting ready to move this studio to another room in my house and make it smaller, downsize it a little bit. I'm starting to get ready for moving out of this big-ass house I live in. So I'm going to start, doing that, making it a little easier. Plus, I got a hot tub out back, man. It's going to really enhance the sale of my house, but I'm going to use it for quite a while before I do that.
So next week's show is going to be from Hutch's hot tub.
Maybe. No, not next week, because Pittsburgh's inspectors, they won't come here, man. I mean, they pulled it back from the private contractors that used to be pretty timely, and I've been waiting for a month now for them to come inspect my 200 amp service upgrade. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out one way or another. Anyway, I noticed that Facebook is getting a little more liberal. Somebody must have slapped Joe Biden, because there was a week where I couldn't share anything because some other user on Facebook, i.e. Joe Biden administration, found it offensive. And now they're letting me pass anything. And apparently our page is doing better. But talk about the page and how can people reach you. Great show, Ward.
Thanks. Facebook is facebook.com/Cold War Radio 22. Post some stuff, make it funny. I'm going to leave you with the 3 big lies. All right. The 3 big lies are the tooth fairy is real, Santa Claus is coming, and Biden will fix everything. Peace.
There you go. My man, Ward Miller, ladies and gentlemen. Go to rsbn.bandcamp.com. Support Jacob Seals. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. We will be back on Wednesday with Sal. Man, thanks for coming out, everybody. Don't lose faith, man. We're going to be all right. God bless.